Infinite Jest is a three-person group exhibition. Cinthia Marcelle from Brazil, Rob Pruitt from New York City, and William Mackrell from London. First time that these artists have ever come together for an exhibition. In effect, it's three generations of artists. We have an artist in his mid to late 20s, an artist in her mid to late 30s, and an artist now in his late 40s. And the coming together of artists from different places and of different ages is revealing, but it's also what connects them together is what fascinates me for this exhibition. There is a notion of circular narration, stories beginning and ending at the same point, and you can see that in a circular Evian fountain by Rob Pruitt, or you can see it in the works of Cinthia Marcelle, where Volta ao Mondo, 9 white vans going round in a circle around a roundabout, or the way in which we present William's 1,000 candles, shown as potential, shown as remnant, shown as performative object, and also as evidence.
I'm William Mackrell. I studied at Chelsea College of Art and Design in London, and I graduated there in 2005. 1,000 candles. Which is a live work. It's a floor-based sculpture that will be lit on the opening of this exhibition, and it's a destructive piece that basically destroys itself. Started with a torch I had that was 1,000 candle power, allegedly 1,000 candle power, and I wanted to see what that really would look like in candles. So it began with just assembling them in a closed circle as tightly as possible, and attempting to light them all. But actually I was more interested later in the unexpected ideas of the difficulties of doing that rather than the candle power. That kind of became like an idea to start, and then actually the work became more interesting for other reasons, such as the candles extinguishing themselves because of the proximity and the heat in the centre, and they would actually burn themselves out. Elements of draft would come into play, and it was a kind of self-determined durational piece, out of my control again, largely. 90 minutes, which is a piece with a concrete football being attempted to be played by 14 participating players, making up a squad, and they played for as long as they could until they couldn't manage anymore. So the piece again is a sort of durational, determined work, depending on their endurance and how much it hurts. Well, it started because I'd read a bit about creative torture through a dictator in Iraq. It was Saddam Hussein's son, Uday, who was in charge of the international sports under Saddam, and after losing at matches, he would torture the players with using a concrete ball in training to punish them. And I kind of found this a really bizarre method of any kind of, with the aim to make progress, to be better, how you could actually do the opposite in a way that basically was self-defeating, I think. And I kind of thought it would be interesting to actually see what that actually looked like, because it was only allegedly. It was agreed that, when you really couldn't continue, you just walked off the pitch. So the players would slowly become less and less until there were just 3 or 4 playing together. And then they finally gave up. But it was quite hard work. I've got a video still from a film called Deux Chevaux. That's 2 horses pulling a 2-horsepower car until the horses get tired or bored. Again, I'm interested in challenging these notions, these languages that we create for things to basically determine quantity, and I like sort of trying that out in the real, really. think it's kind of important to well, challenge these things. I think a lot of them aren't really true.
So unfortunately, Cinthia Marcelle was unable to come over for the exhibition. We had her studio assistant, Marcello Damasceno, here for 5 days installing her work, and whilst the artist might not have come over, she sent beautiful works, a kind of capsule of her practice over the last decade. So we have 3 works in video, 2 shown in the first gallery, Volta al Mondo and To Confront. Volta al Mondo sees successive white vans going round a roundabout. It's very carefully choreographed and shows the kind of going around in circles of everyday commutes. To Confront is very different. It's the work that receives you as you enter into the gallery. 2, then 4, then 6, then 8 fire jugglers confront traffic at a zebra crossing. Initially it's benign and they will move when the lights go to green, but when there is 8 covering the whole of the zebra crossing, it goes to the 8 of them remain steadfast, and tempers and horns soar. In the large gallery we have Leitmotif, which is a recent video work involving the sound of water, then viewing water, then a reveal of the water, which originally sounded like the ocean, actually being revealed to be the carefully staged work of labour, where several people are brushing the water to come into view, and then their brushes and their feet come into view. There is also a photographic series on view called Capomarada, which Cinthia made in 2003 whilst on residency in South Africa. She felt isolated in this residence and set about kind of disappearing into the background in a series of portraits where she is wearing the clothes, the colour of the background, and she herself is revealed in the centre of the bus at the end of the series. Perhaps her largest work for the exhibition, and certainly the most time-consuming to realise, is a work called O Fazedor, The Maker, and it fills one of our ancillary galleries, and it's thousands of pieces of paper scrunched up, both from the artist's house and from the institutional setting of DCA. It's a very beautiful installation, but it's also got this notion of the creator struggling with their ideas and scrunching up and rejecting ideas. And if you listen, you hear the sound of paper being scrunched up, as if the maker, he or herself, is stuck in that room scrunching up their ideas. There's a very beautiful series of collages, which she calls true copies. She takes source photographs of storefronts, stores that have been shut down or are in a period of transition, covered with tissue paper. She takes a photograph of that and then turns it into a very beautiful collage where she applies tissue paper against glass in the inside of a frame. And the final work in the exhibition by Cinthia is a series of acrylic paint lines on industrial fabric where the colour are almost exactly the same. She's interested in that counterpoint between the man-made and the artist's hand onto that, and that notion of labour.
My name is Rob Pruitt, and I'm from Washington, D.C. I moved to New York in 1982 to attend Parsons School of Design, and I've been exhibiting my art since I was 25 years old. I just turned 48. In this show called Infinite Jest, I'm showing a fountain made out of boxed Evian water 64 boxes in a circle formation with a fountain head in the center. That is a type of sculpture that I started to make 12 years ago. I think when I first thought of the idea, I was thinking about how tragic it was that as a population we've polluted our natural bodies of water so that it's not really even possible to drink from the tap in some cities anymore, and that we have to buy this packaged bottled water, and then the packaged bottled water sort of became a fashion accessory and a status item. And I thought it would be interesting to assemble it in the format of a natural pond, so that when the viewer is standing in front of it, they could contemplate about how far we've gone away from nature. And then there's this consumerist attempt to return to nature with this product that's packaged as from the source, as this natural thing. Seemed ironic and depressing to me. I have these two wooden discs that resemble American chocolate chip cookies, which is a kind of cookie that's sort of embedded in the culture to represent like a mother's love or like home-baked goodness. And these two big discs, which are maybe come up to between waist and shoulder height for most people, have these insets, and these insets hold baked cookies baked from a recipe which was my grandfather's. And so I was just thinking about family legacy and gender ideas, and I was thinking about how in my family it was my grandfather who had this recipe for the home-baked chocolate chip cookies, and it's something that was passed down to me. And then I sort of wedded that notion of home-baked goodness and family heritage with the heritage of contemporary art and minimalism. And so I took these two circles which lean against the wall, which if they didn't have these insets for the cookies would look like a typical kind of a minimalist artwork from the early 70s. And I thought it would be nice to infuse them with this personal family story of my own, as not just meditations of geometry and a continuation of a type of contemporary art history from the 70s, but this personal family story of my grandfather, who was known for baking the cookies instead of my grandmother. So whenever they're exhibited, I bake the cookies and put them in these two circles, which are the cookie servers, and share them with the public, the people that turn up to see the show. I also have a couple of sculptures that are made out of blue jeans, like Levi's, and cement. And I think when I conceived those, I was thinking it would be, I had a desire just to make some work about the human form and how it's becoming more and more bloated, you know, with this obesity epidemic. And I'm also very interested in a kind of art that looks effortless, like isn't weighed down, or not just weighed down, but isn't sort of dependent on a kind of craftsman virtuosity of being able to render and sculpt like Michelangelo, because that really isn't something that I was taught to do or know how to do. So I wanted to address the human form in a way that would be like 1, 2, 3 as simple as you could imagine, something that the viewer could do just as well as me. So I made these sculptures of the human form just by filling empty blue jeans with cement and then positioning them into the actions that I wanted before the cement hardened.